a lot of people on Twitter, social media have been talking about Tim Tebow playing the role as Taysom Hill, but Sean Payton approached him first, right?
Yeah, you got to think back. Tim was first-round pick out of Florida, 2 seasons in Denver. He started 14 games there. All of a sudden, man, John Elway was, Peyton Manning. I got to bring him here, win me a championship, which, listen, he did. So that was a great call and one of the few smart calls by Elway quarterback-wise, or maybe the only smart call he made quarterback-wise with the Broncos. He gets dealt over to the Jets in 2012, and he lasts 1 season, and they cut him. I think it's, my memory's right, April of 2013.
Okay.
Tim could not get into detail of exactly when he had the conversation, but he said it was after he was released by the Jets and got approached by Sean Payton. And Sean's vision was, hey, listen, we'd like to bring you in, hybrid option quarterback, a guy that could run some short yardage plays for us, maybe use you as an H-back, sort of hybrid tight end, short yardage running situations. Tim admits he was not in the frame of mind to do that. He still wanted to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And he also had thoughts of playing pro baseball. Okay. So he rejected it. Signs on with the Patriots, Eagles, doesn't work out. Then he plays pro baseball. And now, he's back with his old coach in Urban Meyer in Jacksonville. And it looks as though that deal is really close to getting done.
Right.
But they're going to use him as an H-back. Kind of that role, similar role. It'll be interesting. Do they use him as the joker quarterback in short yardage situations? But that idea with Tebow was originally thought of by Sean Payton. And Tebow was the first one to let the cat out the bag. And he's the first one who said it. And he admitted Sean had a certain vision for what he wanted in that sort of joker quarterback spot, but he wasn't in the right frame of mind to do it. And I get it, because it's almost like if you take yourself back when you were younger and somebody said, okay, I have a vision for you. This is what you're going to do in life, but it's not what you thought of.
Right.
And there's no other comparison at that point in time. There's no comparison to say, well, so-and-so did it. So this was a new idea by Sean to do it. Here's the crazy part. At the end of 2012, Mike Westhoff, who was then a longtime special teams coach for the Jets, leaves the Jets, but he blasts them. He ends up with the Saints.
Right.
His vision was, I think Tebow could be a really good special teams player. Okay, so now you're seeing the origin of the Taysom Hill role.
Gotcha.
Mike Westhoff thinking about using him on special teams. Sean thinking about using Tebow in that kind of joker position, and it evolving from there. And it's all now come full circle. Because guess what? That's what Tebow, if he's got a career, or even if it's short-lived, it's going to be at that H-back position. Now, I'm interested because Urban knows Tebow more than anyone, having him at Florida. And he was a fantastic football player at University of Florida. Just a
Heisman Trophy winner. Heisman guy.
Man, when you get close to Tim, you realize how big of a guy he is. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
And he's a tough guy, runs hard. It doesn't have the speed of Taysom Hill, but he's a big physical guy. So, okay, that was the origin of what Payton had in mind. Tebow gave him full credit. He said he really sort of laid it out to him. It just wasn't what he wanted to do at that time. Funny, as soon as Tebow said it, Bobby and I are setting up for the Monday Night Coaches Show. And we both heard Tebow make the comments on the SEC network. So Bobby was, no, I got that question for Coach. And so coach just sort of laughed about it. He was like, okay, guys, back then I sort of had a bit of a vision of what I wanted to do with that position. And he used the term versatility and usage. Having a guy that was versatile and you could use him in certain spots. You know, and Bobby brought up, hey, coach, if there's a third down pass catching running back, if there's a slot receiver, a dime safety, a pass rush specialist, how come that can't be a guy as a short yardage guy, as an option quarterback? And he's like, well, Bobby, that was part of it. And he said also to the fact that he's such a good athlete. He said, I really think he'd have done really well in that H-back position as kind of part fullback, part tight end. And then we brought up that Mike, in his kind of final interviews with the Jets, just sort of blasted the Jets about they had no clue how to use Tim Tebow. And okay, it goes back to that's Westhoff's idea to put him on special teams. Bottom line, you don't even have to debate it. Now, again, it comes down to Sean saying, yes, okay, that's what we're going to do. But it was Mike's idea to do right off the bat because he had that idea for Tebow. And now, you know, after some fail outings, come on, it's obvious Tim doesn't throw the football well enough to be a starting quarterback or even a backup quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
But, man, you can use him in a lot of different spots. And Sean's comment about versatility usage is there. And I think now everybody's comparing that option guy to Taysom Hill today. But I get where Tebow was coming from because, in essence, there was an example. There wasn't that guy. Now, when the Saints used that 7th-round pick on Tommy Stevens, that was the vision of Payton. He really thought that's what Tommy Stevens would turn out to be one day. Some people think Sam Ellinger, who's now with the Colts, from the University of Texas, can be that type of player. But everybody's comparing him to Taysom Hill. So, but Tebow could have been the comparison because he was given that opportunity. He rejected it, and he gave Sean all the credit that, man, it was his idea. He thought about this long and hard, that it was his decision not to do it. And now Taysom has turned that into a pretty profitable situation. Look, I got in an argument with a guy, and I'm not going to name him because he's a well-known guy. I called him a hybrid player because he's sort of a safety linebacker in-between guy. And he got upset with me when I wrote in my draft book that he's a hybrid player.
Okay.
And now that he has signed his second contract, he was like, man, Mike, hybrid made me a lot of money. So he got, but, I couldn't quite get him to understand when he came out, me categorizing him as a hybrid player. He didn't quite get it. He thought maybe it was a negative, and really it's turned out to be a positive for him. And I think the same thing would have happened to Tebow. He would have been a star player in that position. Everybody would have been comparing people to basically what Tim Tebow had he signed with the Saints. Because I think Sean's vision of it was perfect in that spot. And we would have seen him do the exact same things that Taysom Hill did.
Right. Well, when you look at Taysom, you look at Tebow, you brought up the point of passing. Tebow is not a great passer. Taysom is an okay passer, right? And just the name of Tebow, number one, people would have respected, right? You saw that in Denver, even in the playoff game when he kind of hitched it to Smith, right? And when Smith caught that ball, he just took off running down the field, and just those defenders had no chance. But Tebow had that, how do you say it, the aura about him.
He did have the aura about him because how many times did we see him on television against the best competition in college football, and he won, and he won a national championship, and he put Florida back on the map again Because Spurrier did it with that fun and gun offense. And then all of a sudden, Urban comes in, and it's a different style offense. And, man, it got you kind of on the rocking chair of how to play defense. But Tebow did it great. And then try to tackle this big sucker. I mean, he's 6'3", he's 225 pounds, and he's coming downstream at you. And he ain't the easiest guy in the world to be pulling down out in the open field. And also, too, with Tim, he's a great competitor. I think him and Taysom are different in a lot of ways from a personality standpoint and everything else. Both great guys. But one thing they got in common, man, they are competitive. I mean, as competitive could be. And they're very athletic. And so I give Payton credit. And listen, when you're a head coach, you're going to take shots from people about maybe some of the things you haven't done well. But you got to give Payton credit here. He was innovative enough to come up with that idea. And you say, well, anybody could have done it. Well, okay, I've been here a long time. Where's anybody? When did we last saw it? Last time I saw it, 70s. Steve Grogan did it with the New England Patriots. Grogan was a really good runner. Really good runner. But he had a coach in Chuck Fairbanks who had come from Oklahoma. Okay, so he had a college coach that put some of that running into it. Now, Bobby Douglas, he was with the Saints. God bless him. Man, Bobby was a big guy. But Bobby, he couldn't hit the backside of a barn with a bazooka. I mean, he had a strong arm, but he wasn't accurate at all. Grogan was a pretty accurate quarterback as far as the passer is concerned. But he could also run the ball, and he was a big dude. Okay, since then, Mike Vick did it, but he did it a different way. He was a speed guy. But Mike could throw the football. Mike was a really good passer. So it was different. And you found that niche guy. And here's the thing that's difficult. Short yardage, red zone. Okay, it's 4th and a half yard. It's 3rd down and 2 from the 2-yard line. Okay. Man, the plays become limited now because your field is so short. And you can do a lot of different things to the receivers to throw them off. And you can stack people up on the line of scrimmage. You got a big quarterback like Taysom Hill. And, he takes off with that power running. Man, you got quite a jam to take him down. Same thing with Tebow. It would have been quite a jam to bring him down one-on-one. It's not going to be easy. So I can understand how Sean came up with it. But this thing about anybody could have done it, my thing is, if it was that easy, how come no one else did it?
Yeah. Well, Cam Newton was probably a good example at a decent quarterback who was a really, really good running back, and I'm not taking anything away from Cam. He's MVP quarterback. He led his team to a Super Bowl, but you can't really stop Cam Newton one-on-one. You can't do it.
No, and the thing was, Cam got treated a little bit differently in this league than a lot of quarterbacks. Man, you see some guys barely get touched, and that flag's coming out of there. Yeah. I think officials saw this huge man playing quarterback, and once he got out of the pocket, man, okay, you're a runner now. I'm not throwing that. And, man, he was taking some shots, and I think it has really taken, and I'm going to use the word plural, I think it has taken years off his career, the hits, because you can only take so many shots out in the open field like that. And you can see that it has affected him physically from getting hit so many times as Cam got hit. But I think, you just look at it, you look at Cam a different way because he's a big man. I mean, he is a really big man. Yeah. And you get him just a little left or a little right outside the pocket. And, okay, I now consider you a runner. So you open game. But how many times have we seen, if it's Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Brady, Peyton Manning, and those guys barely get touched, and that flag is out of there, man. It's coming out quick. So it is sort of how you want to look at a certain player, I think, and how people judge him in what he can do really good and maybe what he can't do well. And man, I just think about Cam on that opening Monday night game, all those shots he took. Man, he was KO'd in that game.
Yeah.
And again, your body can just take so many hits when you do that. And we've all seen what type of player Cam was when he was at Auburn as a running quarterback. And he threw the football well, but man, he takes off downfield. You got issues. Man, you're a 190-pound corner. You want to try to bring him down? He's 250 pounds one-on-one. You better get low. Because I know one thing, if you hit him high, he's taking you like in a wheelbarrow. And he's carting you another 5-6 yards downfield before somebody gives that other guy help. So it's an interesting mix of how the ideas of the evolution of the quarterback position today and the usage of players is different. And Sean, even though he's got a lot of tenure in this league, he's always open to new ideas. Because they got some dudes in this league, man, you can't tell them nothing. They got the names and they know everything about everything. But at least Sean was able to bend on that and say, you know what, there's a role here for that type player, and understanding too that you have those sort of situations where you could use that type of performer. And he had it for Tebow. It's just Tim didn't want to do it. And Taysom, opportunity, talent, fit, it all came right for him. And listen, when you're making $20 million a year, man, that's pretty good for a guy who was basically cut loose by the Packers and the Saints claimed him off waivers. Man, $20 million is a lot of money. That's all I know. I can't count money. I know what dead presidents look like on paper.
If he don't want it, give it to me. I will take it. I'll be out there taking the hits. Yeah. I'll be. If you want to be a practice dummy, that's me. For $20 million, hit me, baby. All right. Let's talk a little.